everyone, welcome back to Nails Before Films. Today I'll be going through how I made the John Wick Chapter 4 nails for my John Wick 4 review video. The link for that is in the description. Again, this isn't really a tutorial, I'm just going through how I did the nails, so please comment below if you have any suggestions for me. For John Wick 4, I just did the logo for the thumb and characters for the rest. I put John Wick on the middle finger, the Marquise and Chidi on the index finger, Winston and Sharon on the ring finger, and Kane and Kenji on the pinky. I put the characters who were more related on the same nail, except for John Wick, who got an entire nail to himself. I mean, he's the main character, and come on, it's Keanu Reeves. He deserves an entire nail. I'll only be going through the nail with John Wick in this video. It would be too long to go over every single one. Also, I'll be intentionally cringy and use a lot of excessive adjectives to describe Keanu's beautiful face, because come on, it's freaking Keanu Reeves. For the supplies, again not sponsored, I used Apres Gel X Natural Coffin Medium Size 4 for my middle finger. To prepare the nails, file off the prickly ends using a 100 grit file and buff the surface with a 180 grit file to remove the shine. Next, for the base color, because I wanted to use chrome as the background, I painted every nail with Bio Seaweed's 3-Step Sarah. Now for the chrome powder, I used the pink chrome from Young Nails Iridescent Chrome Palette for John Wick. I didn't film myself applying the chrome powder, but I actually did it wrong for this set of nails. For some reason, the tutorial video I first watched on chrome nails didn't use a nail wipe top coat. She did it by rubbing the powder onto tacky gel polish. Only then did she apply top coat over the whole thing. It kind of worked. The powder did stick onto the nails, but the look was more shimmery than reflective. For this set of nails, I didn't care that much because most of the nails were covered by the characters anyway. But if you want mirror-like reflective chrome nails the way they should be, don't do this. The usual method would be to apply a no-wipe top coat, don't fully cure it, and then rub the powder onto the nails. However, people say different things when it comes to how long you should cure the top coat. Some people say half the time, some people say 15 seconds. My advice would be to experiment with it yourself because different products may need different times. If you cure it for too long, the powder won't go on. But if you cure it for too short, it's going to be more shimmery than reflective. For me, 15 seconds is too short. It doesn't look that different from the one where I just rubbed the chrome on the tacky gel polish. 50 seconds under a UV lamp worked best for me. 1 minute is a bit too long, some spots would be too dry, and the powder wouldn't adhere. Also, you can do 2 layers of chrome, which helps make it look more reflective. I did that for this nail, which I think looked best. Lastly, people usually apply chrome powder with a sponge applicator, but silicone tools also work. I actually did these 2 nails with a silicone tool. I found it easier to clean and more eco-friendly than the disposable eyeshadow applicators. Anyway, there are tons of videos out there teaching people how to do chrome nails. It's okay if one doesn't work for you, just try out different methods. I think chrome is something you need to experiment with and see what works best. And look at me, I improved significantly after trying 4 times. The first one is the one with tacky gel polish. The second is the 15-second top coat. The third one is the 50-second top coat. And the last one is the 2-layer chrome. Okay, enough about chrome. Let's get into the actual nail art. For Keanu, this is actually my second attempt drawing him. I drew him too small the first time, and the nail looked terrible. I didn't capture Keanu's charm at all. So I changed it and fit his handsome face to the entire nail. I mixed a slightly darker skin color with acrylic paint and painted a huge oval on the nail as his beautiful face. Then I started adding his luscious hair with golden fluid acrylics carbon black. After that, I added the outline of his gorgeous face. The next thing I did was add his sensual brows and mouth. I angled his brows slightly downward to make it look sharp, but not to the point that he looked mean. The same thing for his mouth. I did an ambiguous line that looked somewhere between neutral and a smile. Next, I drew his masculine beard, which was on the side of his face and down his chin. Now that I had a rough idea of where his beautiful features would be, I added his penetrating eyes with white gouache and the beard above his lips with black. The beard is really important. Once you add it, it instantly looks better. Next, his strong nose. I drew his nostrils just above the beard and then added the bridge of his nose to the right, almost up to his right brow. Now that the basics of his gorgeous face were done, I moved on to the details. I added brown irises to his piercing eyes and then small black dots as his attentive pupils. Next, I added more of his sexy beard to the side of his face and thickened his dreamy hair. Adding those two, I'm sorry, I can't do this. Adding those two strands of hair on his forehead made his hair look more natural, in my opinion. Sometimes small details like this could really liven up your nails. Lastly, I added black outlines to the top of his pretty eyes to make him look sharper. His overly charming face was done now, so I moved on to his attractive neck and slick suit. For his strong neck, I used a slightly darker skin color than his face and just painted the area below his face with that color. The shape doesn't really matter because you'll cover most of the remaining space with his suit anyway. Because the reference photo I chose was the poster with the all-black suit, I added those sharp colors with black paint. I had a bit of trouble doing the rest of his suit because although the whole thing is black, I couldn't just paint everything black or else it would just be a huge block of black. I ended up mixing a really dark gray for his jacket and his tie. It didn't really matter that much because it was near the tip of the nail and was barely visible, but I personally like to add these small details. I think sometimes they make a big difference. And that's it. Cover it with top coat, cure, and you have the gorgeous Keanu Reeves. That's basically how I did my John Wick nail. I forgot to film some details, like I added white spots in his eyes as the reflections, but this is mostly it. I'm really happy with this one. I think I did a decent job nailing Keanu's charm. However, I will say there are some things I could have done better to make the progress easier for myself. I should have put top coat over his face after drawing the oval at the beginning. Because I did it with acrylic paint, I couldn't afford to make a mistake drawing his features. If I made a mistake and wanted to wipe it off with alcohol, I would wipe off the skin color underneath as well. I also don't like how the paint was a bit streaky up close. I think it may have been better if I drew the base color of his face with gel polish instead of acrylic. Also, most of the chrome background is completely covered by Keanu, which is not a bad thing, but that's why I said it didn't matter if the chrome wasn't perfect. You can't see it anyway. Overall, I think I did a really good job. I'm so happy I got Keanu right. I would be so frustrated if Keanu wasn't recognizable. That's the power of love, people. And I'm sorry I laughed during this video. I couldn't stand my own cringe. Anyway, you can always check out my full movie review if you're interested. Hope you find this video helpful. I've listed the supplies I used in the description. If you have any questions or suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share, do what you want. Keep nailing it and check out my John Wick 4 movie review if you haven't yet, people.